I've got a podcast for you. It's something that you're really gonna love to chew. I sit down on the microphone, I make a podcast and it makes you groan in bed when you listen to the podcast over and over again. I want to love you deeper than you ever knew. But this is just a podcast for fun, a heavy metal, hard rockin' podcast. We're gonna jive talk. Jive talk, make it rock, heavy metal, and fun for you. Let's jive. God, it's just a shame that I got to turn that off and I can't get back to that setting again. What's going on? Welcome back, one and all, to another fine episode of Jive Talkin with Shane Diablo. I'm your best friend in the whole damn world. We do a podcast every week, hard rock, heavy metal news, if you're tuning in for the very first time. I know just from looking at stats that sometimes the intros can just make people turn it right off right straight away, which is sad because I hope that there's something of value in the podcast that I do here. But we have a cavalcade of stories to get to this week and so little time to do so. You'll be happy to know that I've drained my bladder. I am going to pound these drinks like crazy, and so that right now I'm feeling pretty good about it. So let's get on with the podcast. We've got your comments and we've got stories, and if you can see right here, the biggest heavy metal band in the world, Metallica, right there before your eyes, and they're going to be doing something very special that I wanted to get into because they're going to be performing as Elton John and Bernie Taupin received the 2024 Gershwin Prize. Now, first, I want to know, what the hell is Metallica going to be doing there? We know Elton John said that Nothing Else Matters is one of the greatest songs in the world. We know that, but what are they going to be doing? And what the hell's a Gershwin Prize? Is that something like bigger than a Nobel Prize, smaller than a Nobel Prize? Is it bigger than a bread box? We don't know until we get into this. Let's do it now, and welcome to the episode. Metallica is among the artists who will perform, in honor of Elton John and Bernie Taupin. I like to say Taupin, kind of like talcum powder. Elton John and Bernie Taupin, as they receive the Library of Congress Gershwin Prize for Popular Song on Wednesday, March 20th. Those guys are a songwriting duo, old Bernie and Elton. You saw the movie, didn't you? Were they lovers? I don't think they ever were. The invitation-only event, which will include appearances by John and Taupin, Elton and Taupin, will be hosted by Billy Porter. Metallica said, we are beyond excited and proud to have been invited to perform at the very special event honoring the legendary songwriting team of Elton John and Bernie Taupin, as they are presented with the Library of Congress Gershwin Prize for Popular Song. We are traveling to Washington, D.C. next month to join Garth Brooks. Guys, what happened to Garth Brooks? All of a sudden he's being canceled. Is he into some creepy shit? Annie Lennox, Brandy Carlisle, and Maren Morris, and others for the tribute concert and award presentation on March 20th. PBS stations nationwide will premiere the concert on Monday, April 8th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Check your local listings. Available via broadcast and streaming on pbs.org and the PBS app. Who say this? Elton and Bernie have been collaborating for 56 years and counting, and together they have penned some of our lifetime's most memorable and influential songs. We are thrilled to celebrate this honor with them, and we look forward to an incredible evening of unique performances from their remarkable collection of songs. What is Metallica gonna do? that going to be a surprise? The 90-minute program, Elton John and Bernie Taupin, the Library of Congress Gershwin Prize for Popular Song. That's got a catchy title to it for a program. Honors the longtime singer-songwriter duo as the two iconic artists receive this year's distinguished recognition for the Library of Congress. I hope they get into who got it last time. Our long-standing partnership with the Library of Congress illuminates this incredible contribution made by exceptional songwriters and performers, said Sharon Piercy Rockefeller. She one of them fucking Rockefellers that we keep hearing about all the time? President and CEO of WETA, aka WETA, our viewers can anticipate a delightful evening celebrating Elton John and Bernie Taupin, because I too say it like Shane does, Bernie Taupin, a songwriting partnership, and the duo's influence on the music industry for nearly 6 decades. That's 60 years if you want to say it that way too. We are excited to honor these collaborators' extraordinary contributions to popular music. Elton John and Bernie Taupin have written some of the most memorable songs of our lives. Their careers stand out for the quality and broad appeal of their music and their influence on their fellow artists, said Carla Hayden. The Library of Congress, more than 50 years ago, they came from across the pond to win over Americans and audiences worldwide with their beautiful songs and rock anthems. We're proud to join PBS viewers in honoring Elton and Bernie. We're pretty comfortable calling them by their first names. Elton and Bernie with the Gershwin Prize for their incredible impact on generations of music. What's that song? Philadelphia freedom, I love. Beep, beep. Yes, I do. What else did he do? He made a killing with that Goodbye Norma Jean, No, I'm Never Going to See Candle in the Wind. Because remember, he put that song out. It was about Marilyn Monroe, and then when Princess Diana died, he did a redo of it where he was like, goodbye, Princess Diana, though I never got to see you leave the party that night. I knew you were leaving with that guy in the car, and the paparazzi was chasing you. And then he made another $1 trillion, unless he donated that to the royal family. I heard a crazy story. I work with a guy, he's a Canadian fella, but he's just fascinated. I don't know how that connects with the England, but he's fascinated with the Prince and Harry and Diane and all that shit. And I heard, he told me that if you have, in England, if you dig something up, and it's a big box of jewels or something, you have to give it to the rich bastards, the king and the queen. You don't get to keep it. Is that true? Canadians, please. England, please. UK, get in there and tell me. We are very proud of our partnership with the Library of Congress to share the Gershwin Prize for Popular Song, said Paula Kerger, President and CEO of PBS. As America's largest stage for the performing arts, we are thrilled to give people, once again, a front row seat to this extraordinary show and to spotlight the exceptional artists paying tribute to the legendary Elton and Bernie Taupin. CPB is proud to support the Gershwins. Where is Metallica gonna do in it? This is all just about that. In January 2024, Elton John, won an Emmy Award for his outstanding variety special. What? For his show, Elton John Live, Farewell from Dodger Stadium, making him just the 19th performer to achieve rare EGOTs. Do you know what an EGOT is? I know what it is. Do you know? EGOT is an Emmy, a Grammy, what's the O? An Olympic medal. So he's won an Emmy, a Grammy, an Olympic medal, and a Tony, which means he's done something for Broadway. Having also won 5 Grammys, Oscars, guys, it's not Olympic medals, it's Oscars. having won 5 Grammy Awards, 2 Oscars for his work on The Lion King, and with Taupin on the movie Rocket Man, and a Tony Award for the score to the Broadway musical Aida. See, and there's the guys. That's Bernie Taupin, and that's Elton John, and that's Metallica. They're doing that on their Metallica thing, their Twitter or whatever it is. And James says, "Yeah. I'll be curious to tune in and see what's happening." We haven't heard from Alex Van Halen this whole dang time, and I noticed that he's got a book coming out called Brothers. And so I wanted to see if what's going on with that, because he's been very quiet about everything, right? No one's seen him. He hasn't been out in the public eye. And people were slightly agitated at the fact that there was no kind of huge tribute concert. Foo Fighters drummer got a giant tribute concert where Wolfie Van Halen went and performed at. But the Eddie Van Halen, his father, he didn't get a special concert. I mean, Eddie Van Halen's a fucking great guitar player, isn't he? Alex Van Halen says his Brothers book is a love letter to Eddie Van Halen. I was with him from day one. Well, if he was your younger brother, as soon as Mama brought him home in the basket, after the storks dropped him off and she put him in the basket and brought him in the house, you would have been there day one to see him. VanHalenStore.com has shared this first detail about Brothers, the new book from legendary Van Halen drummer Alex Van Halen, due on October 22nd via HarperCollins Publishers. And remind me, I have a off topic right here, right now with this story. The 384-page book is categorized under biography and autobiography and currently has a list price of $32. In this intimate and open account, nothing like any rock and roll memoir you've ever read. Well, I'm telling you right now, I'm just going to spill it. I'll just spill it. Geddy Lee's book's the greatest thing that's ever been written. I think I'm more of a Rush fan now than I've ever been. Sure, I liked Limelight and XYZ and Working Man, and when you hear them on the radio, you turn it up. But I'm telling you right now, that book is fantastic. And the audiobook is read by Geddy Lee. Anyways, back to Alex. I mean, no harm, Alex. I want to learn about Eddie too. Alex shares his personal story of family, friendship, music, and brotherly love in a remarkable tribute to his beloved brother and bandmate, told with acclaimed New Yorker writer Ariel Levy. Brothers is the 70-year-old drummer's love letter to his younger brother, legendary Van Halen guitarist Eddie Van Halen, written while still mourning his untimely death. He's just sitting there. It was back in 1978. You gotta breathe for a minute, buddy. You can't just jump into things, okay? You go in there, drumming calms you. Unless you're doing one of your sweet drum solos. In his rough yet sweet voice, Alex recounted the brothers' childhood, first in the Netherlands and then in working class Pasadena, California. That's what David Lee Roth says. Pasadena, booby dooby doo doo. With an guys, I don't know that word. Itinerant musician father and a very proper Indonesian-born mother, the kind of mom who admonished her boys to always wear a suit, no matter how famous they became. A woman who was both proud and practical, nonchalant about taking a doggy bag from a star-studded dinner. He also shares tales of musical politics, infighting, and plenty of bad boy behavior. But mostly, his is a story of brotherhood, music, and enduring love. They did love each other. If you ever see interviews with them together, they're like two peas in a pod. I was with him from day one, man. We shared the experience of coming to this country and figuring out how to fit in. We shared a record player and an 800 square foot house, and mom and dad, and a work ethic. We shared that 800 square foot house with mom and dad, and a work ethic. Later, we shared the back of a tour bus, alcoholism, the experiences of becoming famous, of becoming fathers and uncles, and of spending more hours in the studio than I've ever spent doing anything else in my life. We shared a depth of understanding that most people can only hope to achieve in a lifetime. There has never been an accurate account of them or the band, and Alex wants to set the record straight on Edward's life and death. Brothers includes never-before-seen photos from the author's private archive. Fans who order this book, ooh, here we go. Fans who order this book from VanHalenStore.com, they don't own VanHalen.com, and then you could just put a little button on there that says store, will receive a free exclusive collectible as a bonus. Pre-order details will become available later as we get closer to October 22nd release date. Brothers will also be made available as a 720-minute audio book. It's not going to be read by him. And an ebook. The Brothers book cover has been shared by Rolling Stone and can be seen below. Well, let's take a peeksy doodle. There it is. Oh, they look like brothers, don't they? We're just some brothers. Alex and Eddie formed a band called Mammoth in Pasadena, California in 1972, then renamed it Van Halen when singer David Lee Roth joined the group, and later bassist Michael Anthony. David Lee Roth will tell you, he told him, No, groovy dudes, you gotta call the band Van Halen, man, because you're the Van man, you're the band Van. You guys are the backbone of the rock thing we're doing. And I think they didn't want to do that, right? Van Halen was one of the biggest rock bands in the country in the 1980s with hit songs like Runnin' with the Devil, Dance the Night Away, Hot for Teacher, Panama, Jump. The group, which later featured Sammy Hagar on vocal, was introduced into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2007. The Van Halen family moved to Pasadena after immigrating to the U.S. from the Netherlands in 1962. Van Halen was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 2007. You mentioned that already. According to modern drummer, Alex was instrumental to Van Halen's electrifying dramatic sound. I agree with that. Both of them, right? The guitar, the drums. And Michael Anthony's high vocal. Leading the rhythm section on standout hits like Ain't Talkin' About Love, Unchained, and Panama, his double bass pedal work throughout Hot for Teacher was deeply influential, combining technical prowess with a restless, thoroughly original drum composition. All of that is true. Back in 2021, Hagar said that he had tried to reach out to Alex after Eddie's death, but that he was rebuffed. This is Alex, or this Sammy. Alex seems to we down in Cabo Wabo, baby. Alex just seems to, he just doesn't want to communicate with anybody, Sammy told Ultimate Classic Rock. You know, Mike Anthony, former Van Halen bassist, has reached out, and I reached out many times. I don't know. I'm sure he's still in pain from the whole thing, but I'm not dogging him. I'm just saying he just really doesn't want to be friends or doesn't want to communicate. I don't know why. But we've still got the rest of our lives to work this out. All right, we're done with that. We're getting out into some drum business. Do you know Eloy Casagrande? Well, he quit Sepultura. And he quit Sepultura. This might get into it, but the rumor is that he's joining, now that Max Weinberg, Peter Weinberg, what's his name? Danny Weinberg, the drummer guy from Slipknot they got rid of. They're saying Eloy jumped on it. That's what they're saying right in this story. But maybe they'll give us some clues. We don't know, guys. Let's get into it and find out. Eloy Casagrande. Casagrande, Eloy Casagrande, on his exit from Sepultura, decisions needed to be made. Thinking about the new cycles that will come. The new cycles that will come. Drummer Eloy Casagrande says that his decision to leave Sepultura was made with every view toward new cycles that will come. That will come. The news of Eloy's exit from Sepultura came just 2 months after the band announced it would celebrate its 40th anniversary in 2024 by embarking on a farewell tour, which will cover the entire globe. Yeah, that's kind of a bit of a thing there, right? That's a bit of a pickle that they're calling it quits, and he's decided to drop before they call it quits, so they're going to have to get a drummer in there to do the farewell. Earlier today, Eloy released the following statement via social media. I would like to announce my departure from Sepultura. Being part of the biggest Brazilian metal band was one of the best experiences of my life. I just wanted to thank the band and crew and members, and the crew members. It was a story of almost 13 years in which I had the opportunities to learn and contribute with every song, shows, and recording. These were years of great dedication, intensity, and commitment. We did 3 studio albums, very well received by the critics. Countless shows on 5 continents. We didn't do 7 continents like Metallica, but fuck them, okay? And a lot of stories to tell. So, first of all, I reiterate my thanks to Sepultura and the fans for everything we've been through. Maybe for the band's fans, it doesn't make sense at this point, but the decision needed to be made thinking about new cycles, touring cycles, album cycles. That's what he's talking about. He's not talking about a bicycle trip with freaking, who was that guy that was popping all the pills, winning all the Tour de France's? And he kept winning and going on Jay Leno. It's like, I'm just really good at biking, dude. And then it's like, oh no, he's popping steroids and all sorts of stuff. No, we got to take all them medals back. Who was that? Todd Clancy? I can't remember. We are made of choices. And they are not always easy choices. I can tell you that right now. My departure will never erase my respect and gratitude to the band. There is a lot to come, and I hope to continue making a lot of music and art. See you on the road. When Sepultura announced its split with Eloy earlier today, the band wrote in a statement, the Celebrating Life Through Death tour. A farewell tour over the next 18 months that will celebrate the band's 40th anniversary and also its farewell to the stage. Beginning of December, the group clearly defined the intentions at this announcement. What the hell? Why is that in quotes? Oh, is this Eloy? Beginning in December, the group clearly defined the intentions at this announcement. It is a conscious and planned death. As poetic as it sounds, a tour of this magnitude took nearly of a year. This magnitude took nearly of a year of preparing and planning. See, guys, you think I'm an idiot, but sometimes it's blabbermouth that's the idiots, okay? Which would require a lot of commitment, ethics, and loyalty to their fans, as well as respecting for the band's history. I mean, you're doing the 40th Goodbye Bye tour, but the brothers aren't going to be part of it, right? Something that is clear priority to Andreas Kisser, Derek Green, and Paulo Zisto. Is that how you say it? Zisto? It's an X. Xi, X-I-Z-I, Zisto. Paulo Zisto. However, on February 6th, a few days prior to the first rehearsal, drummer Eloy Casagrande informed the band that he was leaving Sepultura to pursue a career in another project. The band were taken by surprise. They all did this. What? They were taken by surprise. Where are we at? Taken by surprise. Without prior warning, he admittedly left the band, abandoning everything related to Sepultura. Luckily, American virtuoso Grayson Nukritman will take the position of Eloy Casagrande and is welcome as the band's new drummer for this final tour, for the Celebrating Life Through Death farewell tour. Grayson commented, "Today I express my heartfelt gratitude for the incredible opportunity to join the legendary ranks of Sepultura for their farewell tour. To contribute to this legacy is a privilege and fills me with both honor and excitement. Sepultura's fearless approach to exploring new territories in the metal sphere is something that I have always admired and strive to emulate in my own musical endeavors. I am eagerly looking forward to adding my own spirit and passion to the mix, to connecting with the fans who have supported the band through its evolution and to its electrifying experiences. And the electrifying experiences we'll create together, by the way, on stage. They don't know what they're in for. They're going to have a dang fine time with old Grayson. Here's to the new chapter we'll write together. To the stages we'll conquer, and to the powerful music we'll unleash upon the world." Casagrande joined Sepultura 13 years ago as the replacement for Gene Dolabella. Oh, I didn't know this. In 2021, guitarist Andreas Kisser spoke to France Loud TV about Casagrande's addition to Loud TV about how Casagrande's addition to has affected Sepultura's sound. "We're very lucky to have such a great musician here in Brazil, especially drumming," he said. "We have a great drummer and percussionist, you see, Carlos Santana, and all those great names, Paul Simon and stuff, always using some Brazilian here and there regarding the drum world. And Eloy started playing drums very early. He was made for Sepultura, man. He was made for Sepultura. I mean, he played in some other bands and stuff, but here with Sepultura, he's really exploding. He's really free to express himself the way he wants to. Sepultura, music really provides that. And in exchange, he gave me especially to write many new possibilities. And I think Machine Messiah and Quadras are the consequence of the interactions we have, which is great. He's so inspiring. It's fantastic. We are kind of always writing. Sometimes he sends me some drum loops. I send him some riffs and stuff. And it's really cool that we build stuff from there, and he's a very professional guy. The best drummer in the world. At least for Sepultura, he's the best." Andrew laughs. Guys, we're going to get into a bit of, I don't know if that answered our question worth a squirt. Can we go back to this for a second? Is that a bad thing? I want to see if we see Slipknot. Am I making up fibs and lies? Okay, yeah, we're off to it. You saw this plump little face, didn't you? When I clicked the button there, you saw Geoff Tate. It's not a plump face. Someone's going, "Shane, call the fucking kettle black, baby. You got yourself a plump face too. So don't be talking about Geoff Tate's." We've got a double smacker here, guys. A double smacker of stories, because one guy says we're talking backing tracks. You guys love talking about backing tracks, right? Geoff Tate thinks it's a great idea for singers to rely on backing tracks. But we've got another person in another band in another story says, not a good idea. Geoff Tate thinks it's a great idea for singers to rely on backing tracks during live shows. Maybe he's doing it. Who knows? Original Queensryche singer Geoff Tate, frontman Geoff Tate, says that it's... What song is that? Does that take hold of the flame? For singers to rely on backing tracks to enhance their lead vocals, I feel like listening to this podcast could, don't listen to it while driving. I don't feel like this is a podcast you listen to wind down. Maybe this is something you listen to Friday night to enhance their lead vocals during concerts. In a recent interview with more and more artists have been given a pass for relying on pre-recorded tracks, drum triggers, and the assorted technologies that make concerts more synthetic, but also more consistent. For better or worse, pre-recorded tracks are becoming increasingly common for touring artists of all levels and genres. They're not just used in pop music. Many rock artists utilize playing back tracks to various degrees. Tate addressed some of rock acts' reliance on pre-recorded tracks in a video message uploaded by Sink and Stanley, Sink and Stanley's YouTube channel. Guys, we know the Sink and Stanley. I just saw a little video the other day that said Sink and Stanley ran into old Paul Stanley. I didn't get to see the video, but asked for his opinion on singers using backing tracks for their lead vocal, the vocalist said, as transcribed by Blabbermouth, "I think it's a great idea. I wish I would have thought about it sooner." So he is using them. Pressed by Sink and Stanley to give more serious answer, Geoff replied, "I'm totally serious. I'm totally serious. It would make our job so much easier." Addressing the fact that some pop singers are too busy dancing on stage to be able to deliver a strong vocal performance, Geoff Tate said, "Well, I can't dance, so I've got to sing." In 2022, Tate, who has spent some of the last few years on the road celebrating the 30th anniversary of Queensryche's Empire and Rage for Order albums, as well as the 35th anniversary of Operation Mindcrime, confirmed to the Josta Show that his backing band was playing the music tuned a half step down to accommodate his aging voice. I can't hit those high notes like that anymore in standard tuning. Jesus Christ. I mean, not doing a show. I could do it on its own if I was just going to sing a song. But doing it night after night, no. You'll kill yourself. I could barely do it when I recorded it. Ha ha. There was a little laugh there, guys. I put the laughs in. According to Tate, tuning down a half step doesn't make a big difference at all. When it comes to the way the music is presented to represented and the fans enjoyment of the live show, it's mostly to save the singer's voice. The former Queensryche vocalist explained, and also my backup singer, they have to hit all those notes too. And we're not doing it night after night after night. It's hard on you as a singer to do that. So you find ways of ... tuning down a half step. Makes a huge difference because you're not just killing yourself to hit the note. And you can do it consistently 7 days a week. And that's what I demand of my band. They get no days off and no per diem. I said that. That wasn't him. He gives them a per diem. Do you know what a per diem is? It's a little bit of cash in pocket every day. So they can get a pizza, slice, pack of ciggies, condoms, whatever they need. But if you are tuned up to standard tuning, I think you'd probably only get 3 shows before you'd have to take a break. And economically, that's just really, really hard to do, to make it work. So we tour just about 7 days a week, if we can help it. It depends on the travel. Back in 2014, Tate's replacement in Queensryche, Todd Latour, our pal, said that the fact that he sings the band's songs in their original key is one of the reasons he has been able to win over so many fans of Queensryche fans following Geoff's departure. I agree with that. He can hit those notes most nights. I'd like to see him stop smoking cigarettes, Todd. Imagine what you could do if you quit that. We don't drop tune, he said. When I first got in the band, the other guy, this is Todd Latour, the other guys in Queensryche said, hey, if you want us to tune down half a step, if it's easier for you, don't be afraid to ask. And I said, no. I want to do this. Lost my spot. Do this the best way that I can to represent the songs the way they really go. And if it's a struggle for me, I just have more work to do for me. But let me keep trying to do this. So I think the fact that those old songs weren't being played in the last few years with Geoff in the band, I mean, some of them were played, but a lot of times they were tuned down or songs were not played in their entirety, like Roads to Madness. Is that a song I've ever heard? We play the song in its entirety. We play NM 156. I got to hear the tunes to know. In its entirety. NM 156 in its entirety. And those fans, they really love hearing that. So the fact that that wasn't happening, and then when I came into the band, it started happening, it really kind of made it easier, I think, for fans to kind of rally around and go, awesome. I mean, that's all it really takes, right? When you go to a rock show, as you hear the singer and you say, yeah, he hits Take Hold of the Flame, and you go, okay, this dude's got it. We got Michael Sweet here, the Sweet Boy. In June 2022, Stryper frontman Michael Sweet admitted that he and his bandmates no longer attempt to perform their songs in the original key. Love can be so cold. This is Michael Sweet. He says, we finally dropped half step D, and I have found that it's not only much easier to hit the high notes, it's just much easier to sing these songs, he said. We did an 18-show run, and I made it through without any vocal issues. I was able to retain my range in high-end sing much more consistently night after night. 5 years ago, Iron Maiden singer, Bruce Dickinson, said that he takes pride in the fact that he and his bandmates perform their songs in the original key. We don't detune like some other people do. We don't do any of that, I suppose. If one day we have to, but we don't have to do it now. And I think the songs sound better as a result of it. They're meant to be played in that key. Scorpion singer Klaus Meine told the Phoenix News-Times in 2017 interview, "Uns that aging process has forced me and my bandmates to scale down the tuning activities. They no longer play 3 shows in a row or even attempt to perform some of their earlier songs in the original key," he said. When you listen to songs from Blackout, like No One Like You or the Big City Nights, it's physically impossible now to do those songs in their original key. You want to play those songs, but you want to survive 100 shows a year. So some of the songs we play in different key. But the energy is still there. I can see that in the eyes of the audience. The energy is still there. You're still at the top of your voice. Even now, you got to go to the edge. Maybe the edge has moved a little bit. Well, there you have that. Now, guess what Gary Holt's going to say? Let's take one more. Let's have a moment of silence for this fella right here in his pork pie hat. Oh, he's a little fella in his pork pie hat. Geoff Tate, baby, in your pork pie hat. Is that a pork pie? He looks like a guy that you're waiting to, he does them TikTok magic tricks. Says, nothing to see here. Now, if you notice, you've picked out 4 cards, and I've got this bird in my asshole. I always stop and I got to watch the whole thing when you see a magician doing one of them quick 1-minute videos. You're like, there's no way he's going to do a magic trick in under 1 minute. I don't believe it. And then you're always amazed. You're always shocked and amazed when they do it. But this is Gary Holt. Gary Holt. He is back, guys, with Slayer. They've added another show. He's also in a band called Exodus, if you don't know that. But they added Aftershock. So Slayer's going to be on that too. Aisha Araya. Is that her name? Aisha Araya? Sandra Araya. She's going to get so many handbags. When he says we're gonna do Aftershock too. Exodus, Gary Holt says lip syncing is bad, but backing tracks can be cool if they're used to fill up the sound. That's where we're at, people. There's a difference between lip syncing and backing tracks. They want to tell you that there's no instruments in backtracking that should be. That if you're hearing something that's not a bass, a guitar, or whatever that's on stage, that's a backing track. But when they go the full Monty and they're doing the vocal too, he's saying that's bad. But like a beautiful orchestral arrangement in an Exodus song or something, if they ever chose to do that. Exodus and Slayer guitarist Gary Holt said that he has no issue with bands who use limited amounts of backing tracks to fill out their sound during their concert. In a recent interview, in recent years, more and more artists have been given a pass for relying on those pre-recorded tracks. Holt addressed some rock acts' reliance on pre-recorded tracks in a cameo video message request by Sinkin' Stanley. Jesus. Sinkin' Stanley is got cornered the market on lip syncing. Right? Now we got to watch that video. I don't even want to read this comment because I want to go, what's up, Sinkin' Stanley? I'd love to know how much you paid for that. What's he charging, this Gary Holt? It can't, I'll say it's more than $50. Is there a video of it? Oh, there it is. The Sinkin' Stanley. Let me see if I can click this. Okay, let's pause it. Oh, for heaven's
sake. Of the Sync Army. What's going on? Gary Holt here from Mexico. Formerly, sort of, in Slayer. And that's the first time I said that. And you want to know what I think about bands lip syncing and using tons of backing tracks these days. Lip syncing, bad. Sing the shit, all right? Now, if you did a song that has you did a record that has a giant, choral orchestra in it, yeah, go ahead and sync that shit up and use it,
Just what I said.
But, play and sing your main vocals. Backing tracks, it's cool, if you're like Rob Zombie and you got a bunch of sequence keyboard stuff, go for it. The rest of the band are all playing that shit live, and that's the way it should be. You're just filling it up.
What's Rob going to say?
There are bands out there that are using pre-recorded guitar tracks, and you wonder how that one guy on stage sounds so huge. It's because it's not him. It's fucking phony. And, why even bother playing? That shit sucks. As far as Slayer, no, we're not recording nothing. The only thing you'll hear is what comes off the stage and out of the amps. Take care, Agents of the Sync Army. Later.
Agents of the Sync. Goddamn Sinkin' Stanley doing it. Oh, I'm seeing Shine down here. Oh, let's hear it. In March 2023, Kiss longtime Doc McGee defended Stanley's vocal performance at the end of the road, explaining the Star Child fully sings to every song, blah, blah, blah. Shinedown. In March 2020, Shinedown guitarist Zach Myers said that 90% of rock artists use at least some pre-recorded tracks during their live performance. He told Rockfeed, "It bothers me that it bothers people. I'm like, why does this bother you? It's the way it is. People have been doing this since the 80s, and we want the sound to be the best that it can be. Could we go up there and just the four of us and put on the best rock show ever? Of course. But that's not how we want to do it. All right, it's got Sebastian. It's got them all in here. I think we got to the bottom of that, right? Brucey Dick here, Bruce Dickinson. Look at how amazing she is. This bass player girl, she's a badass on the bass. I think recently she was with Whitesnake, David Coverdale, Whitesnake. But Bruce Dickinson, he says in his upcoming solo tour, we'll let the music do the talking. You ain't kidding around. With the Mandrake Project, are you kidding me? He's not goofing off, dude. Bruce Dickinson on his upcoming solo, We're Gonna Let It Go, in a new interview with Patrick, of the WSOU 89.5 FM radio station Iron Maiden singer Bruce Dickinson spoke about what fans can expect from his upcoming tour in support of his new solo album, The Mandrake Project. He said, as transcribed by Blabbermouth, look at the size of me cock in me jeans. No, look at the size of the venues that we're doing. I suppose the average size of venue we're doing headlining is probably just about over 2,000, 2,300, something like that. So some of them are like 5,000, and some of them are like 1,800. And so that means it's either a theater stage or a big club venue type stage. So we're bringing a screen with us. That's right, a screen. And, of course, we've got a lot of video content. So we've got a lot of stuff that we did, backgrounds and things like that. Band-wise, it's going to look quite different. The stage layout to the Maiden layout. There's no scenery. There's no monsters. That's not a monster, you son of a... That's Eddie. He's not just a monster. I'm surprised you'd even say something like that. There's just the 5 of us on music and the screen, and we'll let the music do the talking. Oh, the Mandrake Project will arrive on March 1st via BMG, where you'll be able to pick it up for 1 penny. And they will want you to buy several albums from BMG, but you will never do that. And the bills will keep coming and coming and coming, but you'll just throw them right in the trash because you've already got your 12 cassette tapes, where one of which will be The Mandrake Project. Earlier this month, Bruce revealed the audition of 2 new guitarists to his solo touring band. Swedish-born guitarist, songwriter, and multi-platinum credited producer Philip Naslund and Swiss session and touring guitarist Chris Desselkrach, who incidentally played on Dickinson's current single, Rain on the Graves, will accompany previously announced members Dave Marino on drums and Mystheria. That's keyboards. Mystheria is the keyboards, and Tanya O'Callahan. Yeah, she's the bass player. Bruce's longtime guitarist and collaborator Roy Z. Ramirez will not be part of this touring lineup. The first chance to see this 6-piece live will now be at the Observatory in Orange County, California on April 15th. Roy played guitar on Dickinson's 1994 album Balls to Picasso and went on to produce, co-write, and perform multiple instruments on Bruce's subsequent 3 solo albums. Accident at Birth, 1997, The Chemical Wedding, 1998, and Tyranny of Souls, 2005. Tanya O'Callahan is an Irish musician who joined Whitesnake in 2021 and toured with David Coverdale fronted Outfit the following year. She also hit the road with Dickinson last year as part of a performance of John Lord's Concerto for Group and Orchestra on nearly a dozen dates in Europe. He says, I like the cut of your jib. Tanya, you've got a great sound there. She says, oh, Tatai, thank you, dear. I'd love to come and be on your tour with you. You'd love to come tour with me on the Mandrake Project? Oh, you bet, dear. I've got plenty of bases and all sorts of things that I've got to do. It would be my honour to take you out on the road, Tonya O'Callaghan, because you've got a great sound and a great jib. California drummer Marino previously played on Tyranny of Souls and has worked with Body Count, Body Count, Body Count, Jizzy Pearl, Dizzy Reed, and Steve Stevens, among others. Italian keyboardist Wizard Mysteria. I'm going to say Cradle of Filth. Didn't the keyboardist just leave? Bruce and let's see. Italian Mysteria has collaborated with an array of artists live and in the studio, including Rob Rock, Mike Portnoy, Jeff Scott Soto, and Joel Hoekstra. So no Cradle of Filth there. Dickinson made his recording debut in Iron Maiden on the Number of the Beast album in 1982, and he quit the band in 1993. So there you have that, guys. We're going to get into one more quick story. Judas Priest been killing it, right, with these singles they've been putting out. And they've announced a global album listening party, and I want to relay that information to you so you can go and listen if you'd like to do that. That's them. They're holding up a big tapestry. And Robert says, "You know what I'm going to do, guys, when you hold up this tapestry of our new album, Invisible Shield. I will cross my arms in a giant X and make 2 devil horns." Shane will love that. He loves to say, "Put 'em up the heavy metal horns." So when he sees this photo of us, he'll say, "Look, he's got his little pinksy doodles up and he's doing the heavy metal horns." And there's old Glenn Timpton there. There will be a global listening party for Judas Priest's latest metal masterpiece, Invincible Shield, on Thursday, March 7th at various metal bars in 30 cities around the world. Oh, fuck. I haven't been to a bar in years. Well, you got to see that list below. See list below and check your local metal bar for exact time and details, many of which will also be offering giveaways and custom Judas Priest-themed cocktails for the event. If you live near Daytona Beach, you will be able to experience a special Judas Priest pop-up shop on Saturday, March 9th at 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. at Atlantic Sounds, which will be operating out of a custom Judas Priest military combat truck. An Invincible Shield on wheels, playing the album to more than 500,000 attendees at Daytona Bike Week. Harley Davidson will be leading a 100 biker brigade from Orlando to Daytona at 9 a.m. All in the name of Judas Priest's new album. Have you ever heard of Metallica getting that? 100 biker brigade that are going to drive from let's just face it, they were doing it anyways. And they said, what if we give you 100 each a copy of the album? They said, yeah, we'll put the Judas Priest flags up. Fans can also find the truck and brigade at the Daytona International Speedway for a special parade lap at 12 p.m. Eastern before the Daytona 200. Come celebrate the release of Invincible Shield with your fellow headbangers. Let's see. Atlanta, Georgia. There's a lot of these places I can't understand the names. I'm going to do this list slow, guys, and then you can see if a little place is going to be there. Austin, Texas at the Lost Well. Gino's Rock Club. Indianapolis, Indiana at the Black Circle. Yeah. Vienna, Austria at the U4 Club. Washington, D.C. at the Slash Run. Invincible Shield will arrive on March 8th via Sony Music. In a recent interview with Meltdown of Detroit's WRIF radio station, Judas Priest guitarist Richie Faulkner spoke about Invincible Shield, asking about his previous comments that the follow-up to 2018's Firepower would be a little bit more progressive. He clarified, Oh, do we got the strength? We're just reading this and then we're getting into your comments, guys. I think progressive means different things to different people. So it's not super, super complex dream theater magic, but I think it's complex and progressive in a way that there's some twists and turns and it doesn't really follow any scripts. If it doesn't have to. There's 2 solos in the LP first track, Panic Attack. There's a part in it that's 7/8 time signature. There's 2 kinds of bridges. So it just goes out of the box a little bit. Without being inaccessible. That's what I mean. So I think compared to with Firepower, it's a little bit more progressive. A few more twists and turns along the way. What did you think about Firepower? I thought it was a great record. And they're not too shabby so far with these singles. Let's get into your comments. That's right, you fine freaks and freakoids. Little light this time around, but we're going to get right to him. You got Oscar coming in, and he's done some kind of an upside-down smiley face, which I'm going to take as a sad face. And I'm going to go ahead and say that he's maybe thinking that he's not being honest with me or maybe he is just kind of telling me the podcast stinks. Or maybe he's saying, what a topsy-turvy world we're living in. Or maybe he's saying, this is the greatest thing he's ever heard in his life. Either way, there you go. Mike Buchanan coming in. He's got some stuff here on this week's movies that are bad, but we love them anyways. Howard the Duck. I had a crush on the girl. She was in Red Dawn. She was in that. She was the mom in maybe he'll get to it. Howard the Duck, 1986. One name as to why you should watch this movie. Right there. Leah Thompson. Was this movie ahead of its time or just should have never been made? I think that the character of Howard was changed too much from the original in Marvel Comics. Yeah, it was a comic book character. As he was a very fouled, see what I did there, mouth, cigar-smoking, alcohol-drinking bird. He's made several guest appearances in Marvel movies and TV shows over the years. The movie tames him. Makes him a lot less sarcastic. Seems like they were sort of going for a more family-oriented movie. If you got a movie called Howard the Duck, like, whoa, this has got to be PG, pal. Which, of course, if that was the case, they failed miserably. I give you arguably the best scene in the entire movie, and you can picture what I'm talking about. I think I know what you're going to say here. When Leah and Howard are in bed together, which, as a teen, was just amazing to watch, yes. Made my mom cringe while we were watching this in the theater. Boy, I'll tell you what, man, those first movies you go to with your kid that's got sex scenes in it or something like that, it's not like at home where you can kind of go zippity-doo-dah or whatever, you just got to sit there and my son's 22 now, but, there's a couple of them movies we went to where they're just, I've never been one to say, when is this sex scene going to be over with? But when you get into a movie like that, you're like, damn it, just get over it. Oh, God, they're whipping the hair around and slapping asses and just all this, and you're like, okay, already, let's get on. I was taking him to a Triple X theater, by the way, if you didn't know. Let's see. Which, of course, is what the case failed miserably. I give you arguably the best scene in the movie, yes. They're in bed together, which as a teen was just amazing to watch. Made my mom cringe while we were watching it in the movie theater. Howard is from an alternate universe and is brought to Earth where he tries to fit in and find his way back home again. This movie is just plain fun to watch. Grab your favorite beverage. Sit in your favorite chair. Pop some popcorn. And press play. Mike Buchanan says, now I would be very excited and supportive if you did get the gig to host a new version of Headbangers Ball. I would love that. I would have to look up what channel MTV was on, but after that I would watch. Yeah, I got no idea. Mike Buchanan says, I welcome the return of Slayer. I'm tempted to go to Riot Fest to see them in Chicago. They haven't announced the lineup yet, but a chance to see Slayer once again is very intriguing. But what does this mean for Carrie's new band? ? Mike Buchanan says, Jeff needs to just stay out of the conflict that Dawn is trying to fire up and just stick to playing the bass. I think Jeff's carved out a very successful career over the years, being in Dio, his album with George Lynch, and touring with Foreigner for the past almost 20 years. Foreigner will be playing live in my town on Friday, the day before you all are seeing this. Sounds like Mike Buchanan says, sound like a budding romance is starting between Rob and Sleep Token. Oh, yeah. He's down for him. Don't not think that Sleep Token ain't playing in Rob Halford's boudoir when he gets out the old cat and nine tails. And I'm not telling fables either. He likes to get into the chains and whips and all of that. Don't you not think that he hasn't turned on a Sleep Token album when he's slapping an ass before, I'll tell you that. Let's see. Mike Buchanan says, yeah, I have no issue with Ace being sloppy. Dude knows how to write catchy songs. Leave the rest for his band to make up and play the crap out of his songs. I just want to see, I'm telling you, if he got his head in the game and went out and said, we're going on tour and we got stage shit, and not a lot of stage shit, but, you know, we're coming out. I'm getting in the old fucking Kiss tights again. We're going to rock this album. It'd be great. Mike Buchanan says, just picturing little Shane D with a rose clenched tightly in his hands, walking nervously over to his crush. I think we all need that story. Well, maybe sometimes. Maybe someday. Mike Buchanan says, how does one get a shattered pelvis from a drug addiction? I did have the opportunity to go see Great White back when they hit it big. I think drugs, though, like those pills and all that, it wears the bones down, doesn't it? Or it makes them weak or something. And where your hips are getting all the action all the time. They never, if you ain't laying down, the hips don't lie. I'm starting to get antsy. If you remember the girlfriend that dragged me to poison. Okay. Hold on. How does one get a shattered pelvis from the drug addiction? I did have the opportunity to see Great White back when they hit it big. If you all remember the girlfriend that dragged me to poison, when she was dragging me to Great White, but we broke up about a week or so before the concert. Oh, God damn it. Why didn't she get the concert in like my girlfriend did? She got that Aerosmith White Lion concert in before she called it quits. And I was like, God, I should have took somebody else. Never did see that Great White concert. Well, your heart was broken. Did you have the tickets in your pocket? I would have took someone else, unless she bought the tickets and then broke up with you because she wanted to take someone else. Or she just wanted to be free to get back there with Jack Russell. She's like, I'll get them hips working for you, honey. Don't you worry about that, baby cakes. Your hips you'll be out there moonwalking by the time I get done with you here. And now, it's your Jive Talkin jokes of the week, courtesy of Mike Buchanan. I'd tell you a joke about time traveling, but you didn't like it. Oh, yeah. So he knows that I didn't like it already because he's time traveled back and saw my reaction to it. So he didn't do it. I would tell you a joke about airplanes, but I think it would go over your head. I'd tell you a joke about broken pencils, but there's no point. I would tell you a guitar joke, but I'd have to pull some strings. I'd tell you the joke about butter, but you'd probably spread it. Did I hear a good joke? Guys, I really want to tell you a little more about, I going to tell you a little more about Getty's book here, in a second here. I'd tell you a joke about sheep, but you might have heard it before. You might have heard it before. Huh. And finally, the boy says, I would tell you a joke about my penis, but it's too long. Girls, oh yeah? Well, I would tell you a joke about my vagina, but you'll never get it. Never gonna get it, 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 oh, woo, 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 woo. There you go, there's your heart. Good job, buddy. You did a good job. You always come through. I appreciate you guys. You always come through for me. If there's a day you walk away from this podcast, I'll understand, okay? You do not feel obligated to get in the comments. If you love it, do it. If you don't. Miss Althea coming in, she says, the dumbstruck fool says, she's talking Slayer here. I am not well read on them, therefore I do not have any firm feelings on one way or the other about their reunion. However, I will say hell yeah to the fact that they are set to play within 5 days of each other, my birth state of Illinois, the windy state, and the great state of Kentucky. What? My birth state of Illinois and the great state of Kentucky, which is on the other side of the Ohio River from Indiana, where my family lived for 10 years. Midwest represent. Miss Althea on Jeff Pilson. You could have made a drinking game out of how many times he said, I don't know. To that end, what was the point of the whole thing, especially when it's been known for some time that Don isn't playing with a full deck? Don probably discounts any recreational drugs he did because they were offset by prescriptions. To quote Jeff, I don't know. Miss Althea on Ace. He's been owning up to him being a sloppy player for decades. This is not recent revelation, so I don't know why he feels the need to reiterate it, except for maybe just to keep his name in the news. I really do feel like this is a solid record from Ace Frehley. I think if you're putting these in the annals, you got to go with the solo record from the 70s. And then you got to go with this one. And then you can do whatever you want with the rest of them. Is that fair to say or no? I'm getting conflicting views, and it's fine for people to go, I think it sucks. I don't think it's good at all. It is plastic. It is vanilla. It is straightforward, hard rock, mathematics written down on the sheet. This is how you do it. But they're catchy tunes. All of them. And I think it's sweet because, she's already changed the will. I'm telling you right now, Laura Cove has already changed the will because he is smitten with that gal. Miss Althea on Bruce Dickinson. Hold on, let me make sure. Okay, Ace has been, yes. Miss Althea on Bruce Dickinson. Only on this channel and only from your mouth would anyone ever hear him being likened to Morrissey. And I will pull a page out of Oscar's book and say, no wonder something questionable happened to his first wife when walking amongst the dead cheers him up. Oh! That was a snap right there against Bruce Dickinson. Maybe he goes to that special spot that doesn't have a headstone, where he went late night to bury his beloved. Thank you, Miss Althea. As always, wonderful. Christian coming in here. He says, Groovy Shane. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Strong boy arm. Strong boy arm. There you go. And Beata. I had to click because I didn't know what was going on with that. So Beata. I got a heavy metal horn, a heavy metal horn, a heavy metal horn, a heavy metal horn. So there you have that. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I feel it was less than what I try to deliver to you on a weekly basis, but they can't all be winners, right? One of these days I'm going to figure something out, man. Life and everything. Come on, baby. I want to... No. Oh, there's the tin I was playing before. I just come across that. Baby girl, what you doing tonight? Let's go for a ride in my cherry red Corvette. Listen to Shane. Every single episode we listen to Shane. We head to the Dairy Queen and get an icy shake, some tater tots, but what we do is we listen to Shane. Listen to Shane. Jive Talkin with Shane D. Get that motherfucker for free. It's a free podcast. It's a free one for your ears. Don't you know? You tell your mom and dad, you tell Gramps and everyone. Jive Talkin. Jive Talkin. Jive Talkin. That was good.